in the dimensions of the Teva, there's a lot of depth, a lot of sights, a lot of things that we can learn and understand why the Teva has exactly these dimensions. So the dimension of the Teva is 300 hummus in length by 50, the width is 50, and the height is 30. Why these dimensions? So the Arizal says a few different reasons why these dimensions, and one of the reasons the Arizal says is because it's connected with the Shem Hashem, Likutei Levi Yitzchak, and Shem Adonai, which is Aleph, Dalet, and Yud. These two names together. Likutei Levi Yitzchak, first we'll do the Gematria and then understand what the depth of this is. Likutei Levi Yitzchak, in numeric value, is Yud is 10, A is 5, Vav is 6, A is 5. Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yud, it's also 4 letters. Aleph is 1, Dalet is 4, Nun is 50, and Yud is 10, so 65. If you take the letters Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yud, and you place them on top of Likutei Levi Yitzchak, or the opposite, either way, it doesn't matter, what you have is an Aleph on top of a Yud, or Yud on top of an Aleph. So let's say we'll take an Aleph. Aleph is 1 on top of the Yud, so 1 times 10 is 10. The next letter is Hey. Hey is 5, Dalet is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 and 10 is 30. Says the Arizal, the Aleph, Dalet, and the Yud K correspond to the dimensions of the 50. That's the width of the Teva is 50. That's Aleph, Dalet, and Yud K. Then you have the letter Nun. Nun is 50. The Nun is standing on top of the Vav, corresponding to the letter Vav. Vav is 6. 6 times 50 is 300. That corresponds to the length of the Teva. The final letter of Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yud is Yud. Yud is on top of a Yud K, Vav K is on top of a Hey. 5 times 10, or 10 times 5 is 50. So what you have now is the width. So the first one, Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yud is 30, which is the height. Then you have the Vav and the Nun corresponds to the length, which is 300. And then you have the Yud and the Hey corresponds to the 50, which is the width of the table. This is what the Arizal says. The Arizal doesn't tell us why these names. There's other ways how to do this, and this is the yichud between the Shem Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yud and the Shem Yud Kei Vav Kei. This is what the Arizal says. What is the idea of the Teva? What did the Teva come to rectify, to create a tikkun for? The tikkun that happened in the Teva is that during the time of the story of the Mabul is V'atimale Aretz Chamas, V'yarokim ki hishchis kolbasar, Mishchasa ki hishchis kolbasar. Filo behem l'chayim niskarkim l'shein aminu. This Rashi says that ki hishchis kolbasar, what does Chamas mean? Chamas means that heat. Chamas comes from the root word cham, which is heat. And ki hishchis kolbasar means that there was a lot of heat. And the heat was that there was no proper yichudim, there was no proper yichud between the Zachar and the Nekeva, between the male and the female, which in oasis of the Zohar, the way the Zohar describes it, is that there was no yichud between Yisoid and Malchus. Yisoid is the masculine, the masculine quality, the quality of giving. Malchus is the quality of receiving, and there was no proper balance between Yisoid and Malchus. There was a lot of Yisoid that was not funneled into correct Malchus, and there was no chibur between, there was no yichud between Yisoid and Malchus. Shem Havai and Shem Adonai corresponds to these two spheres. Generally, Shem Hashem represents Zohar Ampin, or Tiferes, and Shem Adonai is Malchus. So when there's a yichud, when there's no yichud, there's a period between these two names, then the Tmolar is Chalas, the world is in a state of Chalas, because there's a lot of, literally testosterone, a lot of energy of giving with no receiving properly. And then, to rectify that, Hashem said you have to create the teva, which is going to be the yichud between Zohar Ampin, between Yisoid and Malchus. How do we do that? Through the dimensions of the teva. The Zohar also says that Noach, when it says that Noach is called the Ish Tzaddik. Tzaddik is Yisoid alone. Tzaddik is connected to Yisoid. And Noach, we know, had a good relationship with Yisoid and Malchus, him and his wife Nama. So we know that there was a correct, and he had correctly decided Yisoid. The Torah says, according to the Zohar, that he has to go into the teva. What is teva? Teva is a container. Container place means a place that holds the world, potential of the future world, which means it's the womb, it's the malchus of the future world. So Noach, boil la teva, Noach is going into the teva, he's creating a yichud between Yesod and malchus. This is what we know from Torah's Arizal based on what it says in the Zohar. So Rav Levi writes like this. He teaches something very interesting. He says, the Gemara Rosh Hashanah says that there were 3 people that nifkedu in Rosh Hashanah. There were 3 people that their prayers were heard in Rosh Hashanah. That they were barren. Sarah, Chana, and Rachel. Sarah, Chana, and Rachel, where these are 3 women. And therefore, it says, in the Psuk of Zecharinis, when we mention remembrance on the day of Rosh Hashanah, the first thing that we remind ourselves is the Karan of the Mabel. Hashem remembers. The first thing that we say is, that's the first thing that we say. Remember this idea of Zecharinis. Now, why is a person barren? Besides other practical, physical things, but one of the reasons why a person doesn't have children is because there's no proper yichud between Yesod and Malchus. When there's no yichud between Yesod and Malchus, then the Malchus cannot give birth. Yesod has to be in its perfect perfection. Ki akar hi, ki akar hu, it could actually be that even Yitzchak was an akar, means that there was no proper revealing of Yesod, and therefore Rivka was not able to give birth. So the idea of when the Torah talks about an akara, someone that's akara, is also because it's both. There's no proper balance in Yesod and Malchus. So Levi says something interesting. If you take the letters of the words Sarah, Chana, and Rachel, so you see that a lot of them have similar letters. Sarah, Chana, and Rachel. Right? Like the Reish of Sarah also appears in Rachel. The Hey of Sarah also appears in Chana. The letters that are not similar, the 3 letters, they're 3 names of people that only have 3 letters in them. The 3 dissimilar letters is Shin, Nun, Lamed. Shin from Sarah, Nun from Chana, and Lamed from Rachel. Those are the 3 letters that do not appear in each of the other names. What is Shin, Nun, Lamed? Shin is 300. Nun is 50. Lamed is 30. What is it coming to tell us? That the Teva was a tikkun for the Midas HaYesod, when Midas HaYesod unified with Malchus. And when there's a tikkun for Midas HaYesod with Malchus in a perfect harmony, then Sarah, Chana, and Rachel were able to give